copay-free or deductibles, and it's covered through Medicare and Medicaid. Providence Elder Place PACE works to keep you healthy and in your home. Call 206-320-5325 or visit providence.org Elder Place. Providence.org Elder Place.
Join Rainier Avenue Radio from 5 to midnight for Sunday evening sound sessions. Jazz from the cabinets from Big Papa.
That's right. It's time once again for Jazz from the Cabinets.
Sergio LaCour's Love Line.
It's Sergio's Love Lines with Sergio LaCour. Go to the phone line. Tell her who we talking to.
Sage Prince, Just My Opinion.
This is Sage, and that's just about going to do it for the first half of Just My Opinion.
Kickbox Night Beat with Nasty Nets Rodriguez.
The beat of the Fox. Kickbox Night Beat, Nasty Net.
You know what? You're going to listen from 5 to midnight. Just turn it on and don't stop. DJ Alibaba. The Underground Surround Sound Start Time. Paul Pritchard.
Tuning in. My name is Paul Pearson.
Sunday evening sound sessions on Rainier Avenue Radio. Trust me, you'll be listening the entire time from 5 to midnight. Sunday evening, your sound session on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, this is Paul Pearson. I've hosted the R&B show Star Time since the very beginning of Rainier Avenue Radio, and after years of featuring tracks from the 50s through the 80s, Star Time now plays R&B and hip-hop from the 1990s as well. A whole half century of soul, funk, hip-hop, and more on Star Time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Love food? Here's some storage tips to keep it fresh longer. Store cut fruits and vegetables in the fridge. Place in reusable containers. Keep bread in the freezer for longer storage. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, and you know what time it is. It's time for LidLine Sports. Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to LidLine Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. I am Pep, and my man O is in the building. What's happening, O?
What's good, Pepster?
Not much. I missed you, brother.
I know, man. Glad to be back. It's been a whirlwind of these last few weeks. Man.
Has it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess trying to balance out, like, being a high school basketball coach and this. So finally was able to make it work. Got everything straight. So I'm back, and I'm back for good. And I missed you guys. Appreciate you, Pep, for holding it down. And
absolutely.
Glad to be back.
Shout out to Michael Carter for filling in last week. Did a great, phenomenal job as always. So, you always have to have a go-to.
Yep. Shout out
and
to Michael Carter.
he's definitely does that for me. So, man, how was your weekend?
Weekend was pretty chill. I did have some fun on Sunday. Went to my first Seahawks game of the season.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll save that one. Yeah, that's cool.
Yours?
It was okay. I saw Wicked and I saw Gladiator. I saw both of them.
Don't tell
same
me
day.
anything about Gladiator.
I'm not gonna say
Hopeful
nothing.
to see it this weekend.
Okay, I won't say anything.
Okay.
I don't want. Well, you think I'm gonna be on the air and ruin it for everybody, for all the fun?
I guess you could tell me, was it good?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
That's good to hear.
It was good enough that I'm going back and watching the original with Russell Crowe.
Dang, so that's funny because I watched the original Friday.
Yeah.
It took me about.
We watched it, when we got back home late Saturday. I mean, it was late. We got home like around 1 a.m., because we went to a late show. And we were fortunate because the late show we went to had like 5 people total. And
that's how I like my movies.
And what baffles us is when you select your seats, right? We select seats where okay, there's nobody in this row, right?
Yep.
And of course, we get there and there's somebody sitting in the row that we picked, and they're not supposed to be there.
Yep.
Because she checked, because she checked. She said, "Hey, they're not even supposed to be there." I'm like, "It figures,
Yeah.
That's the way it goes for us for sure. It's a pain in the what." But anyway, yes, both were good. Don't forget that Wicked is part 1.
Okay.
So part 2 will be next year sometime, I guess. But sometimes I forget. Like I'm watching, and then it's ended. I'm like, wait a minute. I forgot it's part 1. Yeah. So that's it get me every time just about. So anyway, yeah. So it was a good weekend. Unfortunately, the weather sucks. I mean, it's been
it's Seattle. Well, besides that crazy windstorm we've had, did you lose power last week?
Did not. I was one of the few
Lucky.
that did not lose power at all, and boy, was I happy about that.
I did.
Woo! Oh, how long?
2-3 days.
Oh,
and the last day was shivering, man, and I had got to my last I got to get out of here the next day. And that night I woke up at I think 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
And I see my light or my TV flicker and the heat just came on. And I was like, oh man, thank you to the gods that this came. Cause I couldn't do it again, man. That was brutal.
Brutal. Oh, I feel bad. And it's like some people were out 5-6 whole week.
Yep.
So that's, man, I can't even imagine. But unfortunately, I didn't lose power. My significant other didn't lose power, and she had power outages all around her.
Really?
Yeah, it's like each side of her was out, but she was still on. Yeah, so that's good. How's your other in Cali? How's she doing?
She's doing fine. She's trying to complain to me about the little rain that she's had.
That's right, because they've got some remnants from us.
Yeah, but she's talking about how rainy it is. And so I'm like, oh, get out.
Yeah, you don't know anything about that.
Yeah, whatsoever.
All right. Well, enough of the small talk. Let's get into some sports in the quickest hour in the history of hours here on Monday nights, because it's it goes by so fast. So South Carolina, the women's team, we're talking women's basketball to start off with, lost for the first time in 43 games. So their 43-game home winning streak, overall winning streak has been has gone. The UCLA Bruins at number 5 at the time beat them pretty handily. Actually, they went out to 20-10 lead and never looked back in winning 77-62. Dawn Staley gave nothing but kudos to UCLA pretty much. She said they did everything they needed to do to beat us, and I'm not quoting per word for word, but I'm just saying that she just gave them kudos and saying that they did what they had to do to beat them, and we just didn't get it done. So now the new rankings have come out, and South Carolina has dropped to number 4.
Wow!
And UCLA is your new number 1.
That should. I don't know if you know too. The UConn men just lost today as well.
What?
Maui Invitational. So
wow, that Maui is something else, man. Because I remember back in the day when Virginia lost to Chaminade, Ralph Sampson. Oh man, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
I was in Hawaii at the time.
Really?
I wasn't in Maui, but I was in Oahu. When I was like, whoa.
I was actually fortunate enough about 5-6 years ago to actually go to a Maui Invitational game.
Oh, sweet.
I had a friend who was training Jalen McDaniels out of Federal Way, Washington, who was playing for San Diego State at the time. And guess who else was a freshman at Duke at the time?
Oh,
Zion Williams.
Zion, that's right.
I got to see a show, and he packed out that gym. It was full of NBA scouts, and it was really fun to watch. And Maui is really beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was.
Yeah. And after the fire, yeah. And also, too, that's I felt like something was missing when I was watching the games today, and it dawned on me that this is the time that usually Bill Walton, you know,
Oh man,
marks his mark for the season.
throw it down.
Yeah, and
the Conference of Champions.
I know, right? And I think ESPN did a really good job making a tribute to him for this Maui tournament. So
yeah, I mean, I loved Bill Walton, and I mean, as a player, I didn't like him so much because I wasn't a UCLA fan, and I wasn't a Boston Celtics fan when he went to Boston. But I am a fan. But I am a fan of his, especially in his broadcast career. He was quirky as all get out. That's what made him so fun. I liked his quirkiness. I liked his silliness, that he didn't take it all super serious, and he's and I've said this on the show before years ago, that the reason why I like him so much is because folks forget that Bill Walton had a serious speech impediment growing up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, he would hardly talk.
Okay.
So once he finally, was able to get some help, some therapy, get that taken care of, he couldn't stop talking. And I love that about it, because he found something new for him. That he lived his whole childhood and young adult life not speaking because, he was, embarrassed or whatever. And then he overcame that and then got on the broadcast and just went nuts. Yeah. So that's why I liked him so much. And people probably don't know that.
I did not know that.
Yes. And a lot of people don't know that. They just listen to him and say, oh, I can't take this guy. And I get it,
I was one of those guys that loved that. It was a hate love. Like sometimes I'm just like, I gotta mute my TV. But then you would watch big games and you would feel like it's missing something.
Right.
And it was just like, oh, somebody just quirky who just didn't care as much about the actual broadcasting job, but actually made fun for broadcasting. So
yeah,
definitely he is Hall of Fame, one of the best broadcasters.
Absolutely.
I think, in all of sports.
Yes, definitely.
Shout out to the NCAA and ESPN for getting that done for the Maui Classic.
Yeah, sweet. All right. So, I know. I'm trying to think about what else.
So much.
Yeah, I know. There's so much going on. So, last weekend, of course, in college football, we had a big Alabama loss, in which people up here in the Pacific Northwest couldn't be happier. I personally could care less. I don't, once he's gone, to me, it's, I could care less what happens to him. As far as his professional career, whatever. I'm not talking about his life, of course, but I'm talking about what Alabama does. I mean, I'm not rooting against them, but I'm not rooting for them either. Unlike the Thunder.
I think for me, it's more. I was so surprised that Alabama stepped out of the realm of the SEC or one of these, these conferences that play that style of football. But I understood that they wanted to keep up with times and wanted to make sure that, they were still, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Fresh and staying up with the time. So I got the Kalen DeBoer pick, but I was a little skeptical on how it would fit in Alabama, being this is total different football down there than what it is up in Seattle.
He's finding out.
Yeah, where was he at before? Before UW?
Yeah, I can't remember.
North Dakota or South Dakota?
Yeah, somewhere over there.
So yeah, it's just totally different football. And I was a person who thought that, like I said, I did think that Alabama wasn't going to be cream of the crop this year. And I'm interested moving forward how he recruits and with the type of players he brings in and things like that. But it's not surprising to me what's going on in Alabama. But just like you said, I am hoping the best for him. I don't wish the worst. I do think he would have done great things and could have been an all-timer though at UW.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. He only spent 1 year here, right? And then it was iconic.
Yep.
So he actually had the startings of a heck of a legacy. And why would you? I do get why he went to Alabama.
But why?
Well,
like
I'll tell you in a second. But unfortunately, I wish he would have said, no, I'm going to stay in UW, build my legacy there. Because, man, it could have been something special up here, like Don James. He could have been, of course, nobody's going to replace the dog father, but he's going to be in that. He would be mentioned in that conversation. Now, the reason why he left for Alabama is pretty obvious.
Yes,
money,
of course.
number one, and it's a program that you can't say no to, right? I mean, if they want you, then you basically have to go, and I get that, but somebody has got to sometimes, or in some ways, buck the trend and says, you know what, I know who you are, I know what you are, but I know who I am and what I am, and I'm not going.
Agree.
That's what I would like to have seen, but I understand why he left. So, I can't kill him, right?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Alabama's 8-3, so they're pretty much done for this season anyway. Now he's going to have to, do some heavy recruiting, and which I'm sure he won't have a problem. It's Alabama.
Yes.
So they'll be back in the fold in the upcoming years, I'm pretty sure. Ohio State dismantled Indiana.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I watched some of that game.
I did too.
Ohio State, man, Indiana came down first thing, scored a touchdown. I'm like, okay, they, because Indiana, they disintegrated UW. So any team that beats us pretty good, I want to make sure that they continue to do the same thing. They were the, only undefeated team other than Oregon still remaining. But what I didn't realize, and it's my own fault, I got caught up in the hype with Indiana. They're blowing everybody out because they hadn't had a close game whatsoever. Nope. I mean, nobody's come within 14 of them in all their wins. However, they only beat one winning team, and that was UW.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's disappointing. And the way that Ohio State just manhandled them, that really was a disappointment.
I agree. I agree on most of that. I do also want to say Indiana kind of shot themselves in the foot with some of the mistakes that they made in the first half.
Right.
And I think after that, it was pretty much sayonara, especially playing in the Horseshoe on the road. So I'm one of those guys that I'm not really yet to judge all the way Indiana. And I do still think that they are worthy of a college football playoff spot.
Right.
But you're right, though. I need to see from now until the last week of Big 12 championship, which they're probably not going to be in. But I don't know what the rest of the schedule is. I hope there's a ranked team. They got to beat somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And then, even if I don't know who they play, but they need to just continue to run roughshod over everybody else then. Just that, to keep it going. So, it's, man, I don't know. So upcoming this Saturday, Oregon and Washington down in Eugene. The big question is who's starting for UW. Now, I heard earlier today that looks like Will Rogers will get the start. And to me, okay, if you're going to start him, but I assume that he's going to have a very short leash.
Yeah.
Because you cannot go down to Oregon and make a mistake and keep compounding them by putting him out there. Because if he makes one stupid mistake, he's got to go.
Yeah, I agree.
I would personally, I would like to start Damon Williams, but okay.
You've been an advocate for him all season.
Well, in the last few games, I have for sure. I mean, I saw him in the spring game. I've mentioned this many times before. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing it. I liked him in the spring game. I thought he was real fast. I didn't like his arm.
Yes.
Because he was very inaccurate. But that was the spring. He's gotten much better over since then. I mean, I see a total 180 as far as his arm is concerned. So I would be quite confident in him in starting against Oregon. Now, I don't mean confident in the fact that they're going to go down there and beat him. I mean confident in the fact that he can do what he needs to do to keep possibly keep them in the game, right? Not make silly turnovers, not make freshman mistakes and whatnot, because I think he's past that. and he's fast enough where he could be a threat that Oregon would have to, be concerned about. And that's what I'm hoping. But I don't see that with Will Rogers.
Yeah.
And you keep putting him out there, and he keeps doing the same bonehead mistakes, game after game after game. They've won every game at home. Okay, fine. But they've lost every game on the road.
Yep.
So I'm not confident in this at all. Yeah. And even if the Huskies were they're 6-5 now. Even if they were 8-3, I wouldn't be confident because Oregon is just that much better right now. Even though they did struggle at Wisconsin 2 weeks ago, but then you know what? Every team goes through that.
Yep.
And because when you're number one, you're going to get everybody's best effort,
especially on the road.
Yes, and Camp Randall's a tough place to play for anybody.
Yep.
So it's not just Oregon. So I'm sure UW will probably have to go there next year. They didn't play them. I don't think they played Wisconsin at all this year. So they either got to go there or Wisconsin will come here. So we'll see what happens. But Ohio State is creeping up.
Yep.
And so it looks to me that it's going to be Ohio State, Oregon. In the Big Ten championship, I guess.
I believe so.
Yeah. And that's going to be very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I believe at that point, I think both are still fine to make the college football playoff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Unless somebody gets beat 40-0.
Yes.
And we don't see that happen.
I don't
on either side.
No.
So yeah. You know what? Let's get into some NBA.
Man, it's been a while.
Because I know you jonesing over there.
Yeah.
I can see you, tweaking.
And I like the questions that you actually asked for today's show, Pep. Because I think we are almost at that point where we can start dissecting who's doing what and who we thought would be doing something other than what they're doing. So I know we had the two best teams play in the NBA last week in the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics.
Yes.
It wasn't what we thought it was going to be. But the Boston Celtics did do what they do at home, which is make a lot of threes, and they did beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, with that being said, Pep, I really like what the Cleveland Cavaliers are doing this year.
Yeah, they had trouble in that game, as everybody does when you're playing Boston.
Yep.
However, after being down 20, they made it a game.
They did
in the fourth quarter, and that's all you can ask of any team.
Yep.
All you want to do is be within striking distance in the fourth quarter.
Agreed.
And they did that, and they had chances to take the lead and tie it up, but it didn't work out.
Yep.
But that's fine. Darius Garland had a horrendous game, unfortunately, because that's what usually happens when you're trying to fight your way. They're trying to prove. It seems like one guy is always off.
Yep.
And Donovan was on. Everybody else was on. Darius Garland was off, and that hurt him a lot.
And to their credit, they are both playing well.
And they had injuries too.
Yes.
They had a couple of guys that couldn't play, and that hurt too.
Yes.
But they're still 17-1. Boston's 14-3, 2.5 back in the East. And I think the Cavs are legit. They look legit to me.
I agree.
When I saw them, even in the Boston game, they look legit to me. So it's gonna be a battle, I think.
And I know people think that they are flukes because these last 2 years they made it to the first round or the second round and lost. Look, it takes a few years to actually gel, especially when the Cavaliers are young. People don't even understand that.
Right.
Evan Mobley's young. Darius Garland is still young. So those are two of their three best players. And then you insert in this alpha player in Donovan Mitchell.
Yes.
Those guys just had to learn to gel. And you're right.
They're getting it together.
They're legit. And I think outside of New York, they are the biggest threat to beat the Boston Celtics. I'm not counting the Knicks out. I know that they've been
now they have to gel because they got Karl Anthony Towns, so they got new players. They got rid of Randall, DiVincenzo,
and that was
so they still have to gel.
Yep.
So it takes time. So who's the biggest surprise in the East for you?
In a good way, positive.
Negative? Yeah, positive.
I'm gonna still say the Orlando.
Other than the Cavs,
yes,
that's obvious.
The Orlando Magic.
Thank you. That's who mine is too.
Because they have been without Paulo pretty much all season, and it has helped evolve the evolution of Franz Wagner. and he has really became the number one option and is leading these guys to wins. They just fired off a win in LA. That was a really good win against the Lakers. I know they fired off 5 in a row before losing one. Then now they're 3 in a row. So it is really nice to see that young team gelling without their best player, who we all seen had a 50 ball. He's ready to take off.
Right.
So all they're waiting is to hold it down till he comes back. That is a team that I don't think Cleveland or Orlando is going to like playing in the playoffs, because they're a nuisance. Whoever that's going to be 6-7 game series, in my opinion.
Right.
The team that is disappointing me, it's pretty evident.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. Man, what the heck? And they got smoked yesterday by 26 at home.
Yeah.
To the Clippers.
Yeah. I understand that they are trying to nurse injuries, but they will never all season be able to create chemistry.
Bro,
if this is how it's going to be.
Bro, they're 3-11 now.
Yeah.
You can't nurse. There's no that window of opportunity is gone.
Yeah.
You got to put out there, hurt or not. If it's your best players, they got to be out there, or else.
And I don't know if the front office or the medical staff, they don't see that you can't just have Joel Embiid taking games on and off and just think that come playoff time is just this whole
playoffs
different game.
Playoffs.
You got to get there first.
Yeah.
You got, like I said, there has to be some fluidity in your roster also too when you get there. So
their best player is McCain, that McCain, who nobody knows who he is.
I think it's not good to see that Tyrese Maxey has to take so many shot attempts.
Oh my God!
Because I don't think that's his game. He's not a number one option.
He's not a volume shooter kind of guy.
Yeah,
he's efficient mostly. But now you got to force the ball to him.
Yeah, he's taking 30, 29 shots.
Yeah, come on, that's not. Yeah.
And Paul George, I'm done with him. I mean, I've been done with him for a long time as a player. But he talks so much, like on his podcast, about the things that went on behind the scenes in the Clippers and him going here now. And,
and then the Clippers come up there and beat you by 26 points
you're not
on your court.
You're only averaging 13 in the games you are playing.
13, man. Yeah. Come on, man.
So I don't know. I've been done with him ever since he called himself a number 2 option. So
yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, that just tells me you're confident in your game. But it's I don't know.
I want the Indiana Paul George.
Yeah. And
that was the best version.
We're never gonna see him again. Okay, see, Paul George is really good too.
Yeah, true. You're right. I forgot about that one.
I'm gonna say them. I know there's another team though, and I know it doesn't show in the record in the East, but I like watching them play, and there has been a difference in the fight and how hard they play now. The Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
LaMelo Ball is balling out. So is Brandon Miller when he's healthy. They're in games. That's what I like. And they've beaten good team. I think they beat the Boston Celtics this year. So
right.
I know they're 6-11, but that's what I like to see with young teams, is starting to see growth. I do think that they will fight for a play-in spot when this is all said and done. They'll be right there. But I enjoy watching them play.
Still plenty of season left.
And whoever the coach is there, I can't think of his name, but he's doing a great job. I don't know if you remember, there was some little controversy. He sat LaMelo Ball in a close game that they lost because I think he just wasn't playing well in the last 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, hey, look, man, he's the coach.
Exactly.
You got to put the players out there that's performing. And if your guy's not performing, I don't care who he is, superstar or not. He's got to sit down.
I was so disappointed to hear a lot of former NBA players who do the radio saying that the coach shouldn't have did that. No, you hold your players accountable from 1 through 12.
Absolutely.
And if it costs a loss, and that's what it is. Hopefully the moral stuck with him. So I like that he did that. But yes, I do like watching.
All right. When we come back, we're going to take a break. But when we come back, we're going to finish up the NBA, and then we're going to hit up the NFL. So don't go away. We'll be right back here on LidLine Sports, Rainier Avenue Radio.
Rainier Avenue Radio. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, listen up. Fentanyl is everywhere, and it's deadly. Just a tiny amount, even in pills or powders you might think are safe, can kill you. You can't see it, taste it, or smell it. It's that dangerous. If you're not sure what you're taking, don't risk it. Talk to someone you trust and look out for your friends. One pill can change everything. Stay smart, stay safe.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
On Rainier Avenue Radio.world, look for the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show. I'm Dennis Weaver, your good food guide and host, helping you to feel good and look good. And who wouldn't want some of that? All that and more from the Change Your Food, Change Your Life show on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Stories, songs, and get. Begin living the organic good food life, and the rest of your life just may be the best of your life. Always up, baby, to your help.
We here at Rainier Avenue Radio need your help to get our guy, DJ Nasty Ness, back on his feet. Ness has been a cornerstone of the Seattle music community all of his life and has hosted K-Fox Night Beat with us at Rainier Avenue Radio for over 4 years, entertaining you every Sunday night. But he's fallen ill now, fighting for his life from a hospital bed. He's suffering from pneumonia, heart attack, kidney failure, sepsis, a UTI, and is currently actually in the process of relearning how to walk. We here at Rainier Avenue Radio love our guy Ness and sincerely ask you to help him out by donating to his GoFundMe to help him get back to good health. Donate today by going to GoFundMe support Nasty Ness Rodriguez Road to Recovery. Again, that's GoFundMe support Nasty Ness Rodriguez Road to Recovery. Thank you for helping out our guy DJ Nasty Ness.
Paul Pearson, host of Star Time, and this is my real voice. Honest, you're hearing it on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Should have told her you were sorry.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to LidLine Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Second half of the show. I want to give some shout outs real quick. Michael Carter. I want to answer a couple of questions too, by the way, they put in the chat box. He said, Michael asked if we take Will Rogers out, will he be out for the whole game? And I would say, heck yeah.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, if you get taken out of this game at Oregon, you're not coming back.
Agreed.
Yeah, no way. I want to shout out Nancy Conyers, and she mentioned that Ohio State, Michigan this weekend. That's not a big game this year. This year, it's just your average run of the mill.
And it's in Ohio State. Right?
Yeah, it's in the horse. It's not a big deal this time. And of course, I want to shout out Doreen. She mentioned that she hadn't seen the original Gladiator, so we watched a little bit of it together. She must have finished it because I sure didn't. But
I tried to watch it like Friday night. It took me 1.5 days.
Yeah,
I fell asleep, woke up in the morning.
Yeah,
watched it. I love it. I can watch that movie over and over.
Heck yeah! And of course, I want to say what's up to Bill Walker Jr., who's always shouts us out. So let's finish up the NBA. So we covered the East as far as the biggest surprises and disappointments. I want to do the same for the West. Who's your biggest surprise, and then after that, the biggest disappointment?
Right at the top. I would be the first to say that I did not expect the Golden State Warriors to start out 12-4 to start out this regular season. But not only that, they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And on top of that, Steph hasn't even got really going yet offensively. I think he's only averaging like 22.
No play.
So it's just new. But I think what I like coming into this season after all the Klay Thompson stuff died down, they just kept their heads down and they just been working, and they have a goal. Draymond and Steph has a goal, and everybody has to fall in line and come aboard with this. And there has been no scrutiny. Draymond's been fine. And like I said, they're just chugging along and winning games. So I am going to say that as of right now, I expect Golden State Warriors, barring no injury, to be sitting there contending this year. I didn't think they would. I didn't think they'd be a contender.
Me neither.
But when you throw in guys like Steph and Draymond and they're winning games right now, you got to put them back into that.
Buddy Hield was a great addition.
Yes.
Man, he fit in perfect.
And I have to give a shout out to the Houston Rockets as well, playing really well.
Yes.
And I think we all knew that they were due for a turn because of how well they ended the season last year. But I didn't see 12-6, top 5 after almost 20 games.
Nobody did.
Being one of the better defensive teams in the NBA. And they're gelling as a group. So just to think that possibly, I hope Pep, if trade deadline comes around and somebody like a Zach LaVine or Brandon Ingram comes available, is that somebody that you are maybe willing to add to this nucleus, or do you just chug along with this team and we just see what we have for the rest of the season, see what we can do, and maybe we make room for adjustment in the offseason? Do you try to go get a star at trade deadline if you see fit?
It depends on where they're sitting, because if there's another guy out there that's on the block that can possibly get you over the hump, heck yeah,
okay, absolutely.
And I like the fact that our boy from the 206, Tari Eason, is balling.
Yes,
he's had several double doubles. He's had some 30. He had a 28-point game. He's had a 22-point game. He's just been steady.
Yep.
And so I'm very happy to see that. So I actually look at the Rockets box score and stuff, and I look for his name because, anybody that's from our area, I'm going to support the best I can. Of course, I still look up Kevin Porter Jr. with the Clippers, see how he's doing. He hit double figures last night, so he's playing well. So it's always good to see. And, of course, I always check out Zach with the Bulls. And Paulo when he's playing. So, there's a plethora of guys out there. I don't even want to, slight anybody, but not mentioning, Jay McDaniels. Yep. So, man, we got some guys out there that are balling. And so, it's good to see. Who's your biggest disappointment in the West?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to kind of pinpoint one in the West because I think the teams that are disappointing, they're hurt. Like, you could say the Pelicans, but I guess that is disappointing because it's the same old.
There it is. I'm kind of disappointed in the way Sacramento's wishy-washy, right? Because they just lost to the Nets last night.
Yeah.
I mean, and the Nets are as mediocre as you can get.
Yeah. I'm not surprised that they're, 8-9 and up and down. I don't think DeMar DeRozan was the piece that they needed. It was just a piece, They were already a good scoring team.
I think Halliburton plays for Indiana. What am I thinking? Who am I thinking about? Oh, Murray. I think. I think.
Murray?
Yeah, I think he's been a little.
Yeah, he has.
Iffy. So
like I said, the Pelicans. I mean, you can throw in the Suns because the same old guys getting hurt.
They started off well though.
They did started off very well.
And then the same old crap. Beal's hurt.
Yep.
Right, Durant sits out. Come on, man. What the heck?
So I can say that's disappointing. I guess we can say the Nuggets, but also too, I mean, I think they're just finding their way, and they did lose Aaron Gordon as well. So, I guess I do want to give a shout out to another team who is off to a decent start. The San Antonio Spurs. Chris Paul once again just showing why he is still in this league and still a high impact
coach
player.
On the floor.
Yep. He's been the perfect piece for Victor Wembanyama and those young Spurs.
Hey, look, when he retires, put a suit on and come coach the Sonics.
Yep. Right.
I wouldn't mind that.
Right. And then you got to give a special shout out to the acting head coach in the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, Mitch Johnson.
Mitch Johnson.
Yes, okay, absolutely.
That was somebody who I looked up to as a basketball player going into O-Day. Him and Jamel McMillan, just gaudy, high IQ point guards who will do whatever it takes to win and just knew the game at a high level.
And it shows.
And he's showing. And if Pop isn't leaving anytime soon, he won't be in San Antonio much longer, just due to the fact that he will get a head coaching job here.
Well, he might be there.
That's what I'm saying.
If they're smart, they'll say, you know what, we're keeping this guy.
Yeah, I hope so too. Because
man, that would be awesome.
And it fits. But yeah, I guess I'm just saying. I mean, the Blazers and the Jazz. I just don't know what they're doing. It's been now 3-4 years.
Pacers are
been
weird,
bad, yeah.
man. Look, case in point, Friday night they go down to Houston, gets destroyed, 116-88.
Yep.
The very next night, the Blazers win 106-98 over the Rockets.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Is that a testament to them, or is it what's up with the Houston that day?
Probably more Houston on a back-to-back. But that's why, too, I hope that the Portland Trailblazers understand that Chauncey Billups is doing all that he can with that roster. Because there's no business, like you said, they're only 7-10.
Right.
They're winning games that they probably have no business winning with a lot of
like that
injuries.
Houston game.
Yeah. So I hope that the Blazers don't go into this offseason thinking we got to make a coaching change. You can't, as an NBA franchise, you can't always say we need to make a coaching change.
Yeah.
If something's not working.
And that's the problem with this generation now. Everything is, what have you done for me lately? Or I want it fixed now. You know, I don't have time. Like the first few games of the Seahawks, case in point, 3 in a row win, yay. Win, lose 5 out of 6, he's got to go. I'm like, come on.
I can't stand like social media fans.
I'm telling you.
It's literally every day it's something new. Like fire a player, get rid of this player. Oh, I love this player. I love this coach. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some of that in the NFL for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what you got anything else for the NBA?
I'm gonna give till after Thanksgiving to start my power rankings.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
I think we can all attest that Cleveland and Boston are for sure the best
1,
2
2.
teams in the NBA right now. But there are some very good teams, but those two right now have set themselves. And I think, and it sounds so stupid to say, but it's the truth. Jokic is probably my favorite so far for MVP. He keeps taking his game to another level, and they need him more than ever now. So
for sure,
until he stops putting up gaudy numbers like he is, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Yep. There you go. All right. Let's get to the NFL. Week and a half ago, the Chiefs finally took an L at Buffalo, and then Sunday they went down to Carolina, had a big lead, and lost all of it. They were up 20-7, and then it was 27-14, and then next thing you know, it was 27-27. Are the Chiefs in danger?
No, I just think this is a team that just finds a way to win in any situation.
Mhm.
I think that's tough. If you ask me to go down to Carolina, be up early at half, and kind of just coast, I see that happening. And we know that this Kansas City offense isn't tantalizing like it's been in the years. So,
But I think it can be once
Yes.
they get Rashay Rice back. I think they get him back and then pair him up with Worthy, and I think they'll be back to business.
what I like about the Chiefs is they're winning in all types of ways. So
Yes.
if this is like that, I didn't see no.
Yeah, all the
no
games have been
worry.
close.
Yep.
They haven't blown anybody
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
So I don't see no worry anyway. They're 10-1. They're beating good teams. They lost to a really good Buffalo Bills team.
Mhm.
So
At home, in Buffalo,
yes.
right, which is
So,
tough.
I don't think still anybody in the AFC wants to see Pat Mahomes with
No.
the ball with 2 minutes left.
No.
in any situation.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. So so that's and then yesterday, Sunday night, we got treated to a show. Saquon Barkley, 255 rushing yards, making the New York Giants look like the biggest fools in the NFL for keeping Daniel Jones and then dumping him and then saying bye-bye and good riddance to Saquon. I mean, that's the thing about it. They were like, yeah, get out of here. We don't need you. Okay.
I wish nothing but bad for the New York Giants.
And here's the worst part. The New York Giants aren't even the biggest joke in New York.
No.
It's the Jets. That's crazy to me.
What's your analysis on that?
On the
What's
Jets?
Yeah.
Well, the Jets are idiots. There's no analysis. They're just idiots. I mean, from the owner on down. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He just fired his GM the other day, and it's funny because I read that the GM was joking with the coach, the interim coach, on the practice field, and he saw Johnson come in on the helicopter, and he looked at the coach and he said, "Well, you know, if you don't see me by the end of the day, it means I've been fired." Well, guess what? He got fired. Yeah. So yeah, they're a big joke, and they're also talking about getting rid of Aaron Rodgers mid-season.
Yep.
You know, look, and on all the pressures on the Seahawks this weekend because they cannot afford to lose to them.
Nope.
They can't do it. You can't go in there and goof it up. You know, so you better win.
Is there talk of Aaron Rodgers not starting on Sunday?
That I haven't heard.
Okay.
I just heard that I bet you if the Seahawks blow him out, he's gone.
Okay.
But if they win, it might be like, you know, all right, we'll see, you know, one of those hem-haw type of things, which is Aaron Rodgers' MO. He hems and haws over everything, you know.
I just don't see. I don't know. Is there even a fit for Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Okay. That's what
no, he's 42,
exactly.
41, whatever it is. It's over, right? So what? He could probably still play. Just because you could still play doesn't mean you should.
Yep. All the time undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yep.
LeBron will find out soon enough.
Yeah.
But right now, he's doing a great job. He's doing the best job of fighting off Father Time in history.
I just don't understand. He's a specimen, man. He's a robot.
Yeah.
But yes,
something. Yeah, they did something. Yeah. Yeah, whatever it is, I don't know. But so Philly destroyed the Rams.
Why is Saquon Barkley not MVP favorite?
He is.
Okay.
He should be.
I was hearing earlier this morning that he's just now entering the MVP candidacy. I thought that
I thought he should have been before last night. Last night just solidified it.
Okay.
Right? And because that backwards jump over a couple weeks ago was ridiculous.
Yep.
I had none of us had seen anything like that in a football game when you're doing it backwards. That was just crazy good. But yeah, he's the best running back in NFL right now. You know, Derrick Henry's right up there too, of course. And CMC has fell off because he's hurt.
Yep, always.
And like always. But you know, yesterday he had 11 carries for 31 yards. So he got snuffed. You know, and people make excuses for San Francisco. Listen, this is the NFL. There's no excuses.
Yep.
If your starters or if your guys that are ahead of you aren't doing it, then your depth have to take over.
Yep.
And if they're not doing it, then what does that mean? That means you don't have any depth.
Yep.
The Seahawks found out. The Seahawks found out early in the season when they had 6 starters out for the Lions and 6 or 5 starters out for the Niners. Nobody was listening to them saying, well, we're hurt. Nobody wanted to hear that because, you know, the depth was terrible.
Yep.
But what did Mike McDonald do? He got rid of some starters. He got rid of Baker. He got rid of Dotson. He got some, and he elevated Tyrese Knight, and he got some guys back. Now you're seeing the defense that he wants.
Yep.
Because in the second half, the first half of that Rams game, the D was good. Then the entire game at San Francisco, the D was good. And yesterday, the D was phenomenal.
Yep.
Kyler Murray was the Kyler Murray we hadn't seen since he was a rookie. That wasn't happening to him lately. He was dicing and running over everybody. Not yesterday. He wasn't. He couldn't find anybody except for McBride.
Nope.
And people say, "Well, we couldn't stop McBride." Look, you're always going to have one guy that's going to do something, right? You're not going to be able to stop everybody.
Yep.
You know, just like in the NBA, you might get blown out by 50, but one guy had 30 on your team. He's the one keeping you within 50.
And it don't matter because we won.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the point.
Yep.
But the way they were swarming him, and there's another fact I didn't know about the Seahawks that they mentioned. Did you know Seahawks lead the NFL in causing teams to go 3 and out?
I did not know that.
I did not know that until they said it.
And that's a good stat to lead.
That's a great stat.
Yeah.
Considering where we've come from the last 2 years at being at the very bottom of the NFL in defense to now we're probably heading towards more so the middle of the pack which is phenomenal when you think about it. Because look, to go from 31-30 to middle of the pack is like, man, in half a season, that's pretty amazing.
No, that is. And as a general or front office and owners, you want to see proof and you want to see improvement.
Right.
So, and that's big improvement, just like you said.
And another thing that has really helped the Seahawks is the Jackson Smith and Jigba has turned himself into probably a Pro Bowl caliber player. These last 3 games, he's been probably top 2 or 3 receiver in the NFL. He's been killing it.
Yep.
And he's been clutch. He's basically taken over for Tyler, because Tyler now is like an afterthought.
Yeah.
That's fine, because where he is now in his career, he's where he needs to be, because he can still be productive if you need him, but he's not taking the beating, right? That he would be getting if he was getting targets all the time. And then of course DK, he's still number 1. He's still doing his thing, but Jackson. JSN he's the one making the big plays right now.
Yep.
And so, man, he's been awesome.
So I wanted, and it's been a few weeks, so I was going to come in here, Pep, and ready to rave about your Pittsburgh Steelers. They've been playing great football. I love that Russell Wilson has gotten a chance and he's taken most of his taking advantage of his opportunity again. And I do still think that the Steelers are I still think they can compete for the AFC title. That's a place you do not want to go in and play. But I gotta give credit to my man Jameis Winston and the win that they had over the Steelers on Thursday. I know it was at home, but there's just something about Jameis Winston, man. Just watching him play. Like I said, I understand he is, a mediocre quarterback, but man, just the energy that he plays with, and how much he cares about his guys, and winning. It's just great, to see him, still being able to come out here and compete.
Well, Jameis Jameis Winston is winter and summer.
Yeah.
In the winter, and I don't mean season. I'm talking about his play. When he's winter, he's as bad as it can be.
Yeah.
When he's summer, he can be blazing. He could be blazing like Vegas. And so I was not surprised by what happened Thursday. Okay. As a matter of fact, I expected them to have a letdown.
Scheduled loss?
Because after the win at Baltimore, against Baltimore, I knew a letdown was coming.
Okay.
And people were like, "Oh, we got this." And I'm like, no. Be careful. Now, I will say that when they took the lead in the fourth quarter, I was pretty happy and pretty confident. Okay, we've overcome. But then the defense let us down. Now, look, the Steelers' defense has been great all year.
Yep.
All right, so they had a bad moment and lost the game. I can't get upset about that.
No.
Because this is like I said, this is the NFL. It happens. Those other teams got pro players too. They got Myles Garrett. That guy's a beast.
Yep.
Regardless of their record, right? And Jameis Winston, like you said, we already know what he's capable of. It's just consistency has eluded him.
Yep.
But if he was consistent with what his talent is, he'd be lights out.
Yep.
They wouldn't need Deshaun Watson.
Nope.
Right. So yeah, I'm not surprised by what happened. And now we've got to make sure that we're playing Cincinnati coming up. We got to take care of business. There's no excuse. You can't lose that game. Yep. Cincinnati has played crazy good, but have lost.
Yep.
They keep losing. They're 4-7. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have been the best quarterback wide receiver duo, not named Justin Jefferson and any quarterback that throws to him. And in this case, it's Sam Darnold. But man, it's crazy how well they play and how terrible they keep losing.
Yeah.
But I'm just hoping that keeps going. Sunday, I needed to keep going.
Yep.
So anyway, but speaking of quarterbacks, I want to get back to Geno for a minute because we can't talk about the Seahawks and not discuss what's going on with Geno, because you talk about love-hate. That's the epitome of love-hate. Folks love him, and folks hate him. I'm more on the hate side.
I am too.
Because yes, I think he has a great arm, a beautiful arm. His throws, when he makes, man, they're beautiful. However, when quarterbacks fall in love with their arm, there's trouble. And the fact that he has 12 interceptions tells me he's in love with his arm and he makes poor decisions because he's throwing terrible picks in the red zone a few times, right? And of course, and he's throwing picks when it's just like in the worst possible moments. You know, when you need a first down, or when you're about to get a first down, or when you're deep in your own territory and he's throwing a pick. That's not what you need. And so now the question is, you know, they're 6-5 and they're in first place, yada yada yada. Well, it ain't because of him; it's in spite of him. Yes, he's done his part. Yes, he won the game last week because he was smart enough to look at the iPad during halftime and during times that the Seahawks defense is out there and find out that, okay, the rush is coming. Here's where I need to step and look and go through. He did that. Kudos to that. That's what you're supposed to do as a quarterback. So, you know, but man, look, he's throwing a pick in every single game. That's a pattern. And that's a disturbing pattern.
And like I said, my thing is I don't necessarily hate him. I just don't think he's a great quarterback. And we're talking about a franchise who is trying to contend every year. And I don't think he is the quarterback for that. Just like you said, 12 turnovers. That can't happen.
No.
Because when the game's on the line, I don't trust you.
Right.
Even though you did, like you said, you made great plays, just like the San Francisco 49ers game. You made a great play there and helped us win the game then. But you've also put us in bad predicaments in a lot of games.
And Mike McDonald has forced himself to want to trust him because he basically has no choice. He has to. So, but at the end of the season, we'll find out if that trust is warranted, or will he get an extension or get a contract. Me personally, as we stand right now, I would not do it. Nope. I would not do it. I would move on and go elsewhere.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
As far as Gino's concerned.
I'm not giving him all that.
No, I'm not giving him 30, 40.
Exactly.
No. Plus, he's what, 30? How old is he? 34?
Probably something like that.
Yeah. You know, because I know Russ is 35, so he's got to be up there somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I think we both said it since before the season started.
And I also got another gripe. I don't like their running backs. Ken Walker, okay, I like him most of the time, but the problem is he dances too much for me instead of hitting the hole. Man, hit the hole and quit dancing. And then Zach Charbonneau can't block, and he's slow. I didn't realize he was that slow. He is slow. He gives me DJ Dallas vibe, and that's not good. So, you know, I don't, you know, unless Charbonnet kicks it in the next 6-7 games, I don't see him being here next year because McDonald ain't going to be putting up with that.
Do you have them winning the AFC West?
I do not.
Okay.
Yeah, NFC West.
NFC West.
I do not.
Who do you have winning?
Probably either Arizona or San Francisco still.
Why not the Seahawks?
Well, because we can't trust them.
Okay. Good point.
we can't trust Gino, and our running game is not good enough. That has to get better. You know, so yeah, Gino's 34. Thanks, Mike. So yeah, that's, man, 34. You gonna give a 34-year-old quarterback 30 million, 30, 40 million? I'm not.
No,
not doing
him.
It. No,
not him.
Not doing it.
Yeah.
No, not at all. All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Michael Carter, Nancy Connors, Doreen Ing, Bill Walker Jr. Hey, no Rhonda?
Yeah, I'm out the.
What? Oh, she's on. She's on.
I'm gonna have to figure out.
She's on restriction now.
Yeah.
See, yeah. So don't come on here talking stuff next week. You're on restriction, lady. But anyway, thank you everybody for listening. We'll be back next Monday for more sports in the fastest hour of sports, LidLine Sports, right here on Rainier Avenue Radio.